that time of year again, everyone. The Premier League is back in 2 weeks. And so it's that time for, well, the first ever time we've done a Premier League predictions on this channel. It's the first time for everything. What we're going to do is we're going to go from 20th all the way up to first. So, beginning with 20th place, Harry?
Yes. For my 20th place, I believe on paper, on what I've seen, what they've done in transfer business, Fulham, for me, are most likely to finish.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. You know, they're a team which just seem to always come up and then just get relegated again. I mean, I believe Scott Parker is a good manager. Is he? Is he shown much potential in the Championship?
Well, the one thing you can expect from a Fulham side is the top 5 best passers in the Championship were all Fulham players. They play great football, and they had Mitrovic was a 20-plus goal scorer. But
Yeah.
then where they lacked was defensively a little bit, and in the key moments throughout the season into getting promotion and automatic, they lacked sort of the ability to sort of put teams to bed
Yeah.
or win games, which they all struggled with. But when it came down to the best moment in the playoffs, they'd won that one. So maybe there is some good to come from Fulham.
Good player. So moving on to 19th place, I've got Aston Villa. I'm sorry, Aston Villa fans, but even with Grealish, I don't see you staying up. I think the only reason Aston Villa stayed up was because of VAR.
I had something to do with it, yes.
You know, I think Dean Smith, he's a good manager, but Aston Villa don't have the players to stay up. I mean, they're linked to Watkins, who was top scorer in the Championship, and they've got Matty Cash.
Matty Cash was a very good player last season. Best way to describe him is this sort of breed of right wing backs, but slash wingers. I mean, he played a lot of his career as a winger, but he's played as a right back recently. Gets forward, contributes to goals and assists, direct pace.
Yeah.
That's as much as I know about him.
Who's your 19th? Because we were talking about Aston Villa.
Brighton.
Brighton. I thought you were going to change this when you said you were changing.
Last season they were good at parts, but mostly pretty bad. Not a great season, but they stayed up, which is most important. Have they recruited well? They managed to keep hold of White. Fair play to them.
White. Hashtag White.
It was a silly movement, and he deserves to play for Brighton because he is their player. And they brought him up for the youth ranks. We only had him for a year. We thank him for the year he played for Leeds. But have they brought in players well? I mean, Veltman, good experienced player, but they still need improvement going forwards. And I don't think I haven't seen a lot linked to them. They could change in these past couple of weeks, but
I have this down, and these were a couple things I want to add for prediction. What kind of a prediction or thing I could add? Someone like Saeed Benrahma to massively improve that attack. I feel like for any of these bottom 5 teams we mentioned, Saeed Benrahma would be that perfect marquee signing. So moving on to 18th now, I have Crystal Palace. Who do you have?
I have West Brom.
West Brom. Okay, so with Crystal Palace, I think this is just dragging on now with Roy Hodgson.
The start of the year was before the lockdown period was good. Defensively, they were very good. Gary Cahill, good steal, good player. But the record showed in that run-in from after the break, they lost like 9 games in a row. But the transfer market's been pretty good for them, so it could save them. Eze's a good player.
Eze is a brilliant player.
But they need a bit more just to sort of promise to those fans and show those fans that they will be able to stay up.
I think If I look, I'm looking at the starting lineup right now, and I think that midfield of Milivojevic, Milivojevic,
Milovic, yeah.
MacArthur, and Maya.
West Brom, I'll just quickly go over this. In terms of the Championship clubs going up, they were good at the start of the season, over the middle, tailed off towards the end, and because of Brentford's slip up at the end, that they managed to get promoted. They play, mostly good football. It is a bit of little bit of more of a defensive side, but they do play good football. Matthias Pereira and Diane Garner, two good players, but they still need a lot more to secure safety.
You're 17th.
West Ham.
Oh, just staying above.
Last 3 years, what would be on the up for them? Instead, from good season, they've collapsed, underperformed, and it could be the same. David Moyes is not the right manager. I don't know why they keep going back to him. The owners are a state. Recently, they just sold graded Diagana. Could have been a good future player for the first team, and then they kind of sold him.
They're about to sell Declan Rice.
Possibly. And so
that'll break the team because he is.
Then it's relegation. If he goes, it's relegation candidates for definite.
If Declan Rice is sold this summer, he's by far their best player, and he's basically the glue of that West Ham team. West Ham, they have money. They splash it out on just useless players.
Sebastian Haller was probably the worst signing.
Who's your 16th?
Southampton. Struggled last season, quite embarrassing moments, managed to pick themselves up, but I don't know about signings, but I haven't heard anything major to sort of improve them. And I don't think Hassan Huttel is the right fit. Maybe good enough to keep them up, but not good enough for a strong finish in the Premier League.
I think with Danny Ings and a couple more signings, they can do well because they had glimpses last season.
But there's just around everywhere else in the team. Danny Ings was their season, and if it wasn't for him, you don't know where they'd be. They probably would have been relegation. So 16th is quite a low steep for them, I think, but they could easily get a top 10.
So I've switched it now. So you said 16th, so I've gone 15th, Southampton.
15th, I have Aston Villa.
Really high up.
Yeah, but I feel like Watkins could go to them, so I feel like you get that, and then that's pretty much guaranteed you stay up, I think.
I'll say this. My bottom 5, there's leniency. That can switch around. But
I agree.
I mean, yeah, I do respect Aston Villa. They do play good football. Like you said about Matty Cash, Watkins would be a good signing, would be a great signing. But I can't remember what it was, but I remember there was a part of their team which was lacking. If I look it up now. Yeah, Trezeguet, I think that attack with Algezi and Trezeguet and Grealish. Yeah, Wesley.
Flop. Oh, injuries cut back, but yeah.
But, oh, geez, Wesley, what happened? They need Watkins.
They do. Anyway, 14th.
14th, Burnley.
Crystal Palace.
Ooh. Let's talk about Burnley first. I think Burnley, every year, Burnley's one of those teams which everyone thinks this is going to be their final season. There's no way Sean Dyche is going to keep them up.
But it's going to be, do you? And off the back of last season, finishing like just behind Tottenham and Sheffield United, and their end of the season, you could see them staying up comfortably. So,
13th
was Burnley for me.
I've gone with Brighton.
Yeah.
And we talked about Brighton. 12.
I have Leeds United.
Oh, you have it. I have Newcastle.
The reason for me 12 is that we've spent a lot of spending money on quality first team players, enough to probably secure safety, but the rest of the squad is unexperienced with Premier League, so it'll still take a bit to get used to it, but just wait and see what Bielsa ball's all about, and we could be up for a comfortable stay up with playing some good football and some shot results.
Anyway, 11th, I've got your
Wait, who's
beloved.
your 12?
Huh?
Who's your 12? Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle.
Why Newcastle there?
Well, Newcastle, because I just feel like they're not a top 10 team, but they're also better than a lot of the relegation teams. They're just there. So, they haven't made any signings so far. Steve Bruce, he's got the experience, but I think they should have kept. They should have kept Rafa Benitez. I almost said Raphael then.
I know that they're close with. I mean, they've brought in Jack Henry, that's it, and this other model.
They're close to Callum Wilson, but you
Callum
look
Wilson and Ryan Fraser, two quite good players.
Callum Wilson isn't a massive improvement. Well, for Newcastle, Wilson, but I just feel like Watkins would be a better option. Watkins.
True, but then again, he's not Premier League experiences.
11th, I've gone with Leeds United. I think they'll just miss out on top 10. Again, a lot of their team is inexperienced in the Premier League, but so was Sheffield.
Yeah, funny you say that. I have them on 11th for my pick.
Yeah, I actually have it I have Sheffield 10th.
Alright, we have the 10th to 12th, same three teams there.
So under Chris Wilder, big loss with Dean Henderson, but they've brought Aaron Ramsdale back, which is a good signing. Except they shouldn't have let him go in the first place. Yeah. But moving on to 10th, I've got Sheffield. Who have you got?
Newcastle.
Oh. Well, we've got quite similar then. Of course. Well, we've talked about Newcastle and we've talked about Sheffield. 9th, I've gone with Everton.
Hey, we've agreed on one.
We finally get one. We finally get one that's the same. Revolution. I think Everton could even be higher.
Possibly. We've talked about the transfers in the past, haven't we? Good additions with Alan, Rodriguez, Corey, if they get them. Ancelotti's got a full season now. Good things could come.
I still think we need to get a good centre back.
Yeah, but it's not the worst in the league.
No, it's not the worst, but someone like Ruben Dias from Benfica, great leader. But Calvert-Lewin showed brilliance before lockdown and near the end of the season, so he's going to have a good year next year. And if they can keep Richarlison, which is what will likely happen, I could see them even getting Europa League.
Possibly if things go well.
8th, I've gone with Leicester.
Same.
Coming nearly 4th, and now we're going to 8th.
Leicester's a tough one because you'd think Arsenal, United would improve and Tottenham won't get worse than what they've done this season. So, and Leicester, have they improved? No, they've kept well except for Chilwell. I mean, out of Maddison, Tielemans, and all the other players, they've only lost Chilwell, which is not too bad.
They brought in Timothy Castagne. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's going to be announced sooner or later, maybe. It's not.
It's already been announced.
Has it?
Say.
That's it.
It's a good. I've seen him play. I would have personally gone for Robert Gosens.
Before lockdown, they were doing great. They were playing well on a run, but since coming towards
doing terrible.
No, I mean like a couple of months fall, but I think like
Yeah.
going into like the March for it, they were terrible, and
Yeah.
especially in the last 9 games, they were terrible.
Yeah.
And can you really bring yourself back up to playing your best football you did at the start of the year? It's a big ask.
I think we might agree on number 7.
Who are you going for?
Who have you gone for?
Tottenham. You went with?
Wolves. I think Wolves will stay the same.
Um,
They've just brought in Fabio Silva.
I think there's roundabout where they will come. I just put Tottenham there because I feel like there's not a lot of signs of improvement. Doherty is a good sign for a fullback, but they still need a decent left back, and
Yeah.
I still think Wolves could just edge them.
Back in the morning, so with the magic of editing. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so we are back on to 5th. I just wanted to add about Tottenham. I think they can come higher. There's a possibility that they could even get Champions League. I believe in what Mourinho's doing right now. I think
What were your 7th and 6th again?
Wolves and Tottenham.
Right. Yeah, the other way around.
Yeah, I think Arsenal could even come 6th.
Possibly, but
Yeah.
it's
But that,
very close.
yeah, that leads me on to my 5th. I'm guessing yours is Arsenal.
Yeah.
I respect what they're doing right now. I respect Arteta. You've made a couple of good signings. I wouldn't say it's going to massively improve a team like Gabriel. I mean, remember last time they signed a Gabriel?
Well, he was an experienced, not a young up-and-coming centre-back. This guy looks pretty good. And Saliba in as well. So it's 2 good young centre-backs to add to Arteta's side. So things could go well if the 2 play well. They still need 1 or 2 players just to sort of take an edge
that
over
midfield. I would improve that midfield at Arsenal. I think the main aim right now is to win the Europa League. Well, not even win the Europa League, to get into the Champions League. Get top 4 is Arteta's main aim this season, I think.
It's a tough ask, but there are players in that squad who played so well towards the end of the season, and if they can carry that into a full season, things could go well.
Yeah, I believe so. But I don't think this season will get to, hence why they're 5th. But like I said, them and Tottenham could switch very easily because they're both rebuilding teams. 4th, I know we've agreed on this one, Man United.
Yeah.
So, the thing is with Man United,
it's been a very, very difficult transfer window. One that might have a good ending to it, but you don't know who they need really at this moment. I mean, they've brought in Van der Beek. Is it really needed? Who knows? Sergio Reguilon, that probably sounds like a really good deal if they can get that one through.
Reguilon, and yes, Reguilon is one of the best left backs in the world right now. If you've seen his performances, fast, great attacking. He's not just a man with pace. He can defend as well. Oh, will he do well in Premier League? I don't know, but yeah. Watch the Europa League final, and that is a massive demonstration of how good he is.
The problem with United has always been, I think, the defence over these last year or so. It's not as good as the attack. You got to build on players like Greenwood. I mean, it's a blessing to have someone like that come through your academy, and you've got to really use those youngsters and bring in top experienced players. And Van der Beek, although I don't think it was the area they need strengthening the most, is a good signing for them because they needed another world-class player or sort of key player in that side. They can't just rely on Bruno Fernandes so much, or when Pogba turns up, it's the sort of signing they needed. So if they can improve that defence, stand a good shot.
So moving on to 3rd. Now, I'm still conflicted on this one.
I'll tell you mine, Chelsea.
Yeah. I
think Chelsea finishing fourth last season was due to the fact that Manchester United and Arsenal, Tottenham all had a terrible start to the season, and Chelsea, even in the bad parts of the season, they were still managed to come the Champions League because they were consistent. And Lampard, got the results against lower teams. They were good this year, but this is a 10 times better team they'll have for next season. So
yeah.
what was, I think, not deserved, but lucky chance to finish fourth because the other three teams are doing so bad will be an easily Champions League, possibly trying to break into that top two this season. Can you get to that level?
I think it's good that we've got easy fixtures throughout September and October because that'll ease the players in. You know what? Yeah, I'm going with Chelsea third. So moving on to second, I've got Liverpool or Chelsea. Yeah, Liverpool.
Mine was a close choice. I feel like Man City have bought obviously much better because they've actually bought top players. But
I wouldn't say top players. I'd say squad depth.
I think Ake is a top player in terms of City because Laporte is your main centre back, but who else have Man City really got that is better than Ake? Otamendi,
No.
Stones, flop ever since. I think Ake really stands a chance of cementing his place in that.
Yeah.
Unless Koulibaly comes, but I still think Liverpool can rediscover the form here at the start of the season, and I think it'll be closer, much closer. But I think it will be more like the season before last season, where City just edged it and both teams were perfect. But this season, I think there'll be a lot more mistakes from the top two, and it'll be a close battle between the top three. But I still think Liverpool will just edge it, so I've got Man City second.
All right. Well,
I think we could look for a really exciting close finish because obviously Liverpool haven't spent too much and they were the one who was far.
if you look at that Man City squad and you look at, I think what they need is someone like Koulibaly, a marquee defender, to go along with Laporte.
I think what the worry is with Laporte is injuries of the last 2 seasons have been way too many, and someone like Ake was a good squad player, someone a bit of a better cover than Otamendi and Stones, but Koulibaly would also take it to that next level where you think, right, they're serious this season. They want to win it.
Send out Stones, get rid of Stones and Otamendi, or probably keep Stones, release Otamendi, and then have 4 defenders, Laporte and Koulibaly, and then Nathan Ake can be that squad rotational.
What I worry with Man City is Sane was a big loss, and Ferran Torres has got a big job to sort of become that extra good squad player. The other worry is Aguero. If you can't keep Aguero fit, you're relying on Gabriel Jesus, and he was been not good enough for the last few years. Man City fans probably don't even want him there.
Yeah.
You can't keep Aguero fit, who he's struggled to keep for the last couple of years. That's where it all can go wrong. And I think Guardiola this last season of Champions League is definitely losing that flair of Man City and sort of where they've become an unbeatable side.
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to see their weaknesses and expose them, especially that defence.
But it's hard to replicate what they did the 2 seasons before Liverpool's title win, and I think we kind of are seeing this.
Right, so that's the end of our Premier League predictions. This could go horribly wrong at the end of the season. Leeds could end up winning the Premier League, maybe.
Oh, that's right.
We're Beelzebul. But thank you all for watching. Leave your predictions in the comments below, and we will see you all later.